family of 5 lives on $2,000 a month, and we could probably do it on less if we had to. I'm going to show you our actual budget with complete transparency coming up next. Hi, I'm Michelle, the Frugal Farm Wife, and on this channel you will learn how to live healthy on a budget. Usually we're talking about saving money on groceries, but today we're going to share my family's actual budget. You are currently in a season where you're trying to survive on a low income. I know how difficult that can be. There's a lot of stress and worry about just wanting to make sure that your family's basic needs are met. And that's just not a fun place to be. That's the reality of it. Today, I want to give you this encouragement. Living on $2,000 a month is doable. It's hard, but it's doable. I'll give you the exact numbers our family uses in every budget category. However, our budget will probably be different than yours, so I'll also share some ideas of where you might be able to tweak it a little bit to better fit your family's needs. I also want to add that I don't think living on $2,000 per month is someplace you should stay forever. In fact, our family is really working hard to raise our income. It's been a journey, and we've really had to step outside our comfort zone, and I just want to encourage you to do the same, just for the sake of being able to provide a little bit better of a life for your family. But for now, here are the 3 things I think you need to focus on in order to survive in this season. First, you just need to make sure that all of your family's needs are met. Your needs are your utility, electric, water, sewer, food, transportation to get to work, shelter, heat, and maybe some basic clothing. I think I got it all. I included clothing, but the truth is you could probably make it with what you have, and I would encourage you to just try to do your best with the clothing you already have and then only buy something if you really, really need it. The second thing I want to encourage you to do is try to put just a little bit of money in savings, even if it's just $5 a month. You just want to start trying to put something away so that you can build up a savings account and an emergency fund if you don't already have one. And lastly, if you're living on a tight budget, you need to be using a budget. Gaining traction when you have very little income is hard, but it's doable. When you're making a budget, it has to be written down, and both you and your partner, if you have a partner, need to be in agreement on it, because there isn't much wiggle room for purchases that are not planned. We'll just leave it at that. We use the budgeting app EveryDollar. We've tried several, and that's the one that we like the best. And now, without further ado, here's our budget. If you're using EveryDollar, you can probably follow along and make your first budget while you watch this video. Here at the top, you'll notice it starts with income. Any money entering your hands this month is income and needs to be recorded here. It doesn't matter where the money comes from. To a certain extent, don't do anything illegal. So this is our March 2021 budget, and we had $2,000 coming in. So that is recorded at the top. Next, we have the giving category. We prioritize giving 10 to 12% of our income, even in this difficult season, just because we know there are others who have it even worse than we do, and we want to make sure we're really grateful for what we have and are still helping others. And if you choose not to give, it doesn't mean that you're not grateful. Giving is a personal decision, so you'll have to decide if it's right for you and your family. So this month we gave $238. $200 of that was a tithe to our church, and $38 was sponsoring our Compassion Child. The next category you'll see is savings. So I told you I was going to be completely transparent in this video, and here I am. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this, but we didn't put any money in savings this month because we had some unexpected things pop up, and we wanted to cover that instead of putting money in savings. So most months we try to put like $50 to $100 if we can, maybe more like $200 in our savings account. But I will add, we would not have done that if we didn't have a fully funded emergency fund. My husband and I actually do have 3+ months of savings in the bank. That's the only reason why we felt comfortable not saving this month. You can see some other lines in our budget, like retirement, savings, college, car, and land. These are all things we'd like to save for one day. It's just not feasible right now, but we keep them in there to remind us what we hope for the future. So if you have no emergency fund, I would highly recommend you put a little something in there. Again, because we have one, we had something else pop up, we didn't put money in savings. Here's a rundown of our housing expenses. Our water bill is $40 per month. Our electric was $80, propane $225, cell phones were $40, and our internet is $68 per month. You'll probably notice we don't have a rent or mortgage category line in our budget, and that's because we don't pay rent and we don't have a mortgage. We bought a $20,000 house and paid cash for it. It was a super fixer-upper, but we have really enjoyed the benefit of not having a mortgage. In order to do that, we lived rent-free in my in-laws' basement for 8 months, which was only possible because I have the best in-laws in the entire world and I adore them. However, if we have to pay rent or you have to pay rent, we could probably squeeze a $400 to $500 per month rental fee, rental sum of money, rent. We could pay $400 to $500 in rent per month given this budget. Later on, there are some budget categories that you would have to sacrifice. All right, moving on to food and groceries. There's no room for eating out in this budget. Our grocery budget is $350 per month. So that covers all of our food, our diapers, cleaning supplies, paper products, etc. And I will add, we buy store-bought diapers. I am not about cloth diapering here, no way. So we use a really simplified approach to meal planning and meal prepping to make sure we can stick to our budget and we don't feel tempted to eat out. All right, transportation. Our monthly gas budget is about $150 per month. And I try to only go out and run errands once per week. We try to consolidate our trips and really minimize the amount of gas we use. We live about 20 minutes away from our local grocery store and even farther away if we need something from a bigger store. $150 is it, and we just stick to it. We don't have any money allocated to our car repair this month because our car doesn't need anything. And if it did, my husband would fix it. He is not a mechanic, but there are some really great mechanics on YouTube who have taught him a lot about fixing cars. We managed to squeak by with our local CarQuest store, my husband, and some really talented people on YouTube who have helped us fix a wide assortment of vehicle problems. Okay, lifestyle. When you are a family of 5 living on $2,000 per month, your lifestyle is pretty slim. So we allocate $50 per month for clothing, and honestly, we don't spend it very often. That's really there for emergency clothing needs, and if some other sort of emergency pops up during the month, then that $50 for clothing is usually the first thing we take and use to cover another emergency. Okay, you'll also notice we have a buffer line in our budget that's like a buffer miscellaneous expense. So along with clothing, if something unexpected comes up during the month, that $168 is what we use to cover any surprise expenses throughout the month. We try to use that buffer or even our clothing fund instead of using our emergency fund when we can, just because I like to have the savings and the emergency fund there and I really don't want to touch it. Okay, now we're going to talk about insurance and tax. So our insurance and tax expenses include health insurance is $290 per month. Our home and auto insurance is $175 per month. That's an expense that's probably a little bit higher than what most people spend. And that's because we are farmers and I think we just have a higher insurance bill. I would encourage you to shop around and try to find a lower home and auto insurance rate if you can. Our disability insurance is $40 per month. That's probably an expense that you don't have. We just choose to have it because my husband is a farmer and it's dangerous and we want to have all our bases covered. And lastly, our life insurance is $86 per month. Again, I think that's because my husband is a farmer. You'll notice our insurance and tax category take up about 30% of our budget. Some would say that we are overinsured. The only reason we are comfortable being overinsured is because we don't have a mortgage or pay rent. If we didn't, some of these would have to go. and they would probably go towards our rent. Our clothing, our buffer, and some of these rent expenses would all have to go towards rent. Last but not least, we have no debt payments because we're debt free. Woo! I still can't believe we actually can say that. That was a long journey. If you have debt and you are living on $2,000 per month, that's going to be really tough to make your payments for everything and pay off your debt at the same time. What we did is we sold a bunch of stuff around our house and did anything we could. My husband scrapped old scrap metal from around town that people gave him and from our farm and did everything we could to pay off debt, and that's something you may want to try too. I mean, maybe you can't scrap metal, but maybe you could sell stuff around your house or babysit or walk your neighbor's dog or clean houses or something that would help you have a little more wiggle room in your budget if you need it. What should you do? If a $2,000 per month isn't going to cut it for your family, you should focus on taking care of your basic needs. Try to build a savings account, even if it's just $1 or $5 per month. You're probably going to have to raise your income. If you want some ideas on how you could raise your income, let me know in the comments below and I'll make another video all about that. That would be a ton of fun. I also like to have lots of resources on this channel for saving money, specifically when it comes to groceries and lowering your grocery bill as much as you can. So if you want lots of tips about saving money on groceries, make sure you stick around and like and subscribe to the channel if you like this video, and you'll get all the goods. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.